Shalom Israel. And when I mean Israel, I'm talking about the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. The Lord's 54th annual Passover is going down again this year, sundown, April 1st at 500 South Salisbury Street in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Downtown Conventional Center. It's got enough room for all of us. The Lord's 54th annual Passover. Last year, brothers and sisters showed up from all over the world, rocking ancient garments and glorious apparel in order to serve the Most High in Christ. Now, it's that time again. Commander General Yahanna is putting out the decree for all brothers and sisters to show up sundown, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us at the Sheraton in Raleigh, the hotel right downtown. It's at 421 South Salisbury. The Passover is right up the block at the convention center, literally within walking distance. Make sure you pull up. Make sure that you do your due diligence because rooms are going fast and they are limited this weekend. You understand? We have months in advance of preparation. Do not wait till the last minute to get your room. The Lord's 54th annual Passover, Saturday, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us there.
It's about time, sending curses to them enemies.
Hey, Shalom Israel, this is a public service announcement to all the sisters out there. You already know what time it is. Them Passover corsages is blooming absolutely right this year. If you a married sister, rock that red corsage. And for all the single sisters out there, the white corsage was made just for you. Stop playing. You cannot be Passover ready without rocking one of these. Just $10 to complete that fit for the Lord's 54th annual Passover. Pre-order yours now. Click the link below for more info. For just $10, I got a feeling that this is just the right batch of flowers to have you looking on point and official. Sisters, make it your business to get you one, and we hope to see you there. Shalom Israel.
So I spit juju, I taste the whole thing. Taking my style, I'm far from a lane, girl, just let me put it down, baby. She on the road, can't get around in my coupe, me and you, we just cruising through the town lately. Ask me some questions, girl, do you mind? What would it take to make you mine, please? Tell me be you, and we can try. So I spit choo-choo, I take the whole thing. Taking my style, I'm far from a lane, girl, just let me put it.
If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood. I lay my life down right now for all my sisters and brothers, because I love them. I see them dapping and hug them. It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of sin, trapped in the gutter. My mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Run with them killers, so it's just a matter of time. For why take your life or let you take mine? That's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man live to get old. We in them graves, shit got me feeling played. I opened the Bible, went through them records, found out we was royalty, a nation to be respected. But in this world we rejected, we hated for our complexion. Still fighting to get accepted, we hear the truth and reject it. But love is getting corrected, and all my niggas correct me. The commandments, the foundation we erected. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Hey, hey. Hey, hey.
Oh yeah, it's going down. Join us for this year's All Black Party, hosted by Commanding General Yahanna and the I.S.U.P.K. This year, it's going down in Durham, North Carolina at the Durham Armory. Last year, brothers and sisters came out from all over the world. It was a packed house to celebrate the 2022 Hebrew Academy graduates. These brothers faced life and death, and as a result, they were honored on this night for their sacrifice and their victory at the gauntlet. But wait, this year, it's going down. There will be a Hebrew concert featuring Captain Akkad, 144 the Rebel, King Ty, Captain Ty Ward, One Westworld, Lost Tribes, Captain Kastazar, I Won Ya Allah, also known as Dopey, and Officer Natazar, U.P.K. Natazar, and much more. It's going to be an open bar. Make sure that you get your tickets. It's going down this year, 2023, the 54th annual Passover and the annual All Black Party, hosted by Commanding General Yahanna and the I.S.U.P.K.
Still blessed and still we rise.
I.S.U.P.K. presents the 54th annual Feast of Unleavened Bread. Last year we did it big. This year is going to be way big. More brotherhood, more sisterhood, more UPK. On Sunday, April 2nd, 2023. We're going to be at 421 South Salisbury Street in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Sheraton Raleigh Hotel Ballroom. We're calling all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to come join us.
If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and I'm blessed. Better watch how you stepping.
Are we good? Let's clap it up. Yabashim Shabraka Thumb, Yahweh Shema Thun Bashim Yahushai. Tonight here in DC, holding on the scripture breakdown class. 2 weeks, two weeks and some change. It's about that. It's about 2 weeks 45, 2 week 50, 2 week 39, 2 week 99, and we'll be there facing the east, hands up for the Lord's 54th annual Passover. You know what I mean? Hosted by Commanding General Yahanna, hardest working man in Israel, holding it down for years upon years. You know what I mean? Being a true, stalwart and true. That's an old ass word, a stalwart. You ought to look that shit up. Yeah, I mean that's a man he'll die on post. He's not moving, he ain't leaving, he ain't doing nothing like that. He's staying, he holding up, he holding that guard. So, you know what I mean, and for sure it's a tremendous benefit to so many of us, to find the truth and wake up and obey the Lord and change our lives. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, some of us don't want to do it, and that's fine. You could also serve the Lord in disobedience. All right? Yeah, it sound like a let's call it an oxymoron. How could you serve the Lord in disobedience? I'll tell you how. Come up to a UPK camp. and we can make an example out of you so the rest of the nation learns. You get the point? You've seen it time and time again. Jeremiah, he made the Jewish boy cry. A ton of y'all, that was the first video y'all see. Forgot about my parents in the Holocaust up in Philly. You know what I mean? He served the Lord too. You know what I mean? Give his tears a hand, man. His tears were strong. Those were some strong tears, brother. That's I guess some chaser for them tears. Go ahead.
He had the ugliest cry.
Oh my gosh, he had one of them cries like you just ripped his soul out. You know what I mean? You yelled finish him. You know what I mean? So, There's many ways. There's many ways you can serve the Lord. You can serve him willingly, or you can serve him at the behest of the priest. So that's where we're at. You know what I mean? You'll make sure, go talk to your camp leader, get that link, sign up for that bus, that charter bus. Commander Yahanna have about 4 buses. 4 buses. I'm hearing it might be more because the seats is limited and they're almost full, but people still coming through. You'll get on them buses, man. That plantation tour and that Black Wall Street tour is going to be absolutely insane. You don't want to miss it. You absolutely don't want to miss it. Get on them tours. Go register them kids for that kids party. Contact Banas Shara on. Just go on Facebook. Contact Banas Shara if you don't know who it is. If you're not on Facebook, go contact your camp leader and find out about that kids event on Friday. You're going to need something for them kids to go to, as they're going to be looking at you funny for the rest of the year because you drug them to something and they ain't get to have fun. Remember, they're still kids. You get the point? Let them be kids. Let them go and handle the business. You know what I mean? Now, of course, all black party Thursday night. Thursday night, you're going to be up in the Durham Armory. Give that a hand. That's coming along real strong. Real strong. You know what I mean? If you pay the Passover fund, of course, all that is complimentary. All these things, all that is complimentary. So like the all black party, the class on Friday, of course, the unleavened bread and the Passover, the Starkville tours and the Black Wall Street tours, they do have a fee. Contact a camp leader for them. I believe they're about is $20 for the bus, and the bus is good for the whole day, and the actual tour fee is about $18, somewhere around there. So it's another $20. Let's just say $40, $50. You know what I mean? You back that down, and you get a good ass tour. It should change your whole spirit. You know what I mean? And the Passover, April 1st, 5 p.m. Everybody be seated by 4:30, no later than 4:30, man. Be seated. Don't be coming in there. Don't be fashionably late. I mean, you brothers, I hate to sound, the woman gonna say I'm sexist. What's the other word when you hate women? Misogynist. I hate to sound like that, but you brothers know your ribs, your daughters, your sisters. If they had to get ready from 10 a.m. in the morning and just sit there all day, let them do that. But when it's 4:30, brother, everybody better be in that venue, 500 South Salisbury Street, Raleigh, North Carolina, the Raleigh Convention Center. You can't be walking in there after 5, brother. You're gonna really see the work of the Lord. You're not gonna enjoy a Passover. Do not walk in there after 5 p.m. You probably wouldn't be allowed in for the next 2 hours. You understand? Get in there early. Be seated. This is our event. This is our holiday, man. Get in there early. Do what you had to do and get in there early. That day belonged to the Lord over what? 4,000 years ago? Over 4,000 years ago, that day belonged to the Lord. Get up, get dressed, and get there early. 4:30, be seated in that seat. Because at 4:59, when Captain Ashapariam give that signal and them horns go off, brother, you moving. That might be your last step. That's what I'm going to say. You get to come found moving in that thing, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be an absolute problem. You're going to listen to the Passover from outside. You're going to put the cup to the wall and listen like this. But you ain't going to be in there. All right, so we're going to get it in. What we got? Any questions online? Any questions in the class? I'll take it. I believe you sent the link for SWAP. I believe SWAP had a question too in Isaiah. Come on, Pugaibo, what's going on?
Yeah, sloppy, sir. My question is really about the split back in the day. And I can't remember all the details from the video that I saw. I don't know who said that. Actually, was the split created by a man saying that Christ was going to come back that year, or that the world was going to be over? Because my question really is based on the world being over. Okay,
you want to know if it started with somebody saying Christ was coming back in 2000, or if it started with somebody saying the world was going to be over. Okay, they kind of one and the same for the average layman. The average person, Christ coming back in 2000 was you know, the school of thought was that's the end of the world. Everybody who's not in the truth, they equate the return of Christ with the end of the world, right? Even the scripture, give me Matthew 24, 2, verse 2 or verse 3, right? Right, I'm gonna try to get you up to speed as best I can. I mean, I have all them details. I come on, Johnny Yahanna would have John Muhammad, John Mayak. Those brothers witnessed the whole thing. But I'll get you up to speed as best as I can on whatever you wanted to find out. All right. What you have? You have it? What's up, Al?
Just with the scripture, you answer the question that's online.
What was the question? Also, to give me all them questions, because don't let nobody slide. Just give it to me, get them what they say, and just go ahead.
Okay, there's two questions.
No, give me the one that's related to this. We'll get the other one after. I want to keep forgetting about waiting too long.
He says it's from Ava and Dabara. Yahanna said, is there a hardcore scripture saying the churches will burn?
That's saying the churches will burn. Do you mean the Christ? That's the one you're talking about? Okay. Do you mean the Christian church, or I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing? All right. I'll get it for you. All right. If he means the Christian church, but let's get Pagaiboa.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 2. And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone
skip up to verse 1. It might be verse 1.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 1. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to shew him the buildings of the temple. Verse 2. And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives.
Yeah, that's what I want. Go ahead. Read it again.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be?
Right. So as he's sitting on the Mount of Olives, right? He's sitting there, they said, just give you the location. His disciples, his students, his men, they came to him and they said, well, when will these things be? Because why are they so zealous to find out when these things will be? When what does he say? All these buildings, there will be none left. There will be not one stone upon another. All shall be thrown down. Why are they saying, well, listen, tell us, when will these things be? Go ahead.
Because the prophesied that our oppressors will fall, and we can't wait until our oppressors fall.
Why? But why they want to know?
Oh, because that monster has returned.
And so?
They can't wait for him to come back.
Yeah, I give him it all the way home, though.
How come?
You're there in the neighborhood. We gotta find the house out. You gotta go straight to that front door. Why they want to know? Why they pressed to know? Why are you pressed to know?
So we could be in the kingdom. So we can, reap the rewards that Christ said we would get.
I'll take that. Right? You want to rule. You want rulership. You want everything that our king said we'd get. Remember, these 12, he said, you who follow me into the regeneration, you're going to rule over 12, sit on 12 thrones, ruling over 12 kingdoms. He said, you're going to have rulership. These brothers then gave up everything, gave up their livelihood to follow him. And they want to know, well, listen, how soon is all this you talking? When will this happen? Just think like Israel and how young Israel is, like all Israelites in the world. You tell a brother Christ coming back, well, when? He wants to know when. You understand? That's really how it is. You want to know when. You want to know when this thing gonna happen. I can't wait for this thing to happen because when it happened, this XYZ. When it happened, XYZ. When it happened, this has to happen. That's you're obsessed with that. You get the point? That's really how it is. You want this thing to happen. You don't want nothing to block it. You don't want nothing holding it back. You don't want to hear about a delay. You understand? It's like, you know, a kid waiting to go to the park. You know what I mean? As soon as you hear the keys crack, you're ready to go because whoever coming through that door, taking into the park. So you're anxious, you're ready. This is what you want. Just think like that, right? So he said, when will all these things be? Go ahead.
Come.
No sweat. Find it back quick.
Come. And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Verse 4. And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. Verse 5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
Right. I'll just read over the end of 3. That's really what I want.
Come. And what shall be the sign of thy coming?
What will be the sign of your return? Go ahead.
Come. And of the end of the world.
And of the end of the world. Right? So this precept here is letting you know the return of Christ is synonymous with the end of the world. Now, without the UPK, what do you think this means? What did you think this meant in the world? Because this is, I mean, I knew the scripture, you know, growing up. Most people heard about it before. What did you thought it mean?
Looks like I didn't grow up in the church.
No, that's fine. But most people hear about it, or, you know, end time prophecies, apocalypse, the great apocalypse. You know, Terminator. Everybody saw Terminator, right? You saw Terminator 2, right? Right, when the woman on the fence. Right, you was in the truth then? All right then. All right, come on.
Yeah, but I was growing up, this would have told me, well, my old heads told me that it would be love and peace and happiness forever.
The end of the world?
Or when Christ comes back.
Okay, when Christ, okay, I'll take that. Go ahead.
I hear this. I wasn't in the church like that, but from what I heard, I would have thought this was the calling of the Antichrist.
Say that again?
I would have thinking they were talking about the Antichrist.
Okay, what about the Antichrist?
Like many come in my name, and it's gonna be wars and all
I ain't talking about that part. I'm talking about, and what shall be the signs of thy coming and of the end of the world. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, Consul. What I was thinking before I came into truth was that the earth is going to explode and die, and the people who believed in Christ was going to go to heaven.
That's it. That's what they teach. That this place would be non-existent anymore, and the people who believe in Christ, who saved, will go in the sky to heaven, and everybody else will burn in fire, and this place is going to be burnt up and destroyed. That's what they teach in the world. That's the world's dogma. That's what damn near every religion has, that type of story. Even the Muslims have that type of story. So you come into the truth and you find out what world has a different meaning. World does not mean the earth. It's interchangeable, but it doesn't mean the earth. World means age or society or cosmos, right? So which world, which age or society is going to be the end of? Which one we're talking about? It's talking about the world that opposes Christ. That's the best way to put it. The world that opposes Christ, that's the world that's going to be at an end. Right? And that doesn't mean the earth physically destroyed, but whichever systems and governments prop up that opposition and fund it and fuel it and promote it, that is going to be wiped away. So, of course, they're looking forward to that, because once that's wiped away, these disciples know that they're equipped to rule the world. They're equipped to run things. They have the wisdom and knowledge from the Most High. They have teachings from our King. They know they're equipped to run things, and they're just waiting to get the powers that be to be gone. Namely, in this particular time here, the Romans, right? They wanted that whole establishment gone so they could properly rule. You get the point? So just think about that. This is what these men devote their whole life to. They follow in Christ everywhere. They're on ships going to this place. Then they go into this place to teach with them and camp. He go into the synagogue, they on post watching. They're with him all the way up, all the way. Just think, remember, Peter asked him to go bury his father. He said, let the dead bury the dead. I have a short time. You got to stay with me. Like, they was really invested in this thing. So now they want to know what the hell is going to happen and when. When is going to happen? Because, of course, okay, it's useful. As you grow in the truth, you're just going to be like, when this happens, it happens. Right? The scriptures say, watch and pray. So you're going to be watching the prophecies. You're going to be praying for it to happen. But you're not going to be exasperated, meaning this. You ever running or doing some physical activity and all that's on your mind is for this thing to be over? That's kind of the spirit with it. You get the point? Where it's just, man, I want this thing to be over. I just want this thing to be over. When you you just have to go through it. And when you play to the whistle, a good coach, if you ever play sports, they'll tell you play to the whistle. Don't play to what's going on. Play to the whistle. When that stops, you stop. But don't stop because, you lose the ball or the call was bad and you throw your hands up. That's the wrong spirit to be in. You get the point? Go ahead.
So now you said that one thing you couldn't wait to be over. That first week.
Okay, but hit that light on your right hand. Not that one, brother. Thank you. Yeah.
That first week in Hebrew Academy, night, every first day.
Listen, it is what it is. You might want to check the screen door. The screen door might be open. You might want to check that one and pull that one in. Right? Okay, so Pagaibo, you understand that part, right? It's I'm gonna wait till you get back in. What's going on there, because
got a little bit of smoke and
don't describe it as smoke, brother. These they Israelites trying to learn. They could, they'll get a harsh lesson, but that's
So you don't want that?
No, just give it to me. I'm just saying, don't call it that. Don't give them all that amount of prop. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
There's someone by the name of Khalid Muhammad says, "Are you Israeli?" And then when you didn't answer the question, he says, "Go back to Africa. You are not Israeli." There's another sister, well, I don't know who this person is, but it's his daughter, UIC, says, "Did y'all see this man talk to a woman on Facebook?" Shaking my head.
Yeah, I did. I called her bitch. I called her a bitch several times. And this baffles me. I think I need to go and do some psychology course. This is a sidebar only because you brought it up. I did not call every woman a bitch. I did not say every woman is a bitch. I didn't call every woman a dirty bitch. I called that specific woman who was acting like a dirty bitch a bitch. Somehow that mobilized the entire female menstrual cycle population of y'all to band together. And somehow you feel like I called all of y'all bitches. Now, this could only be two things. Women either have some sort of, like a spidey sense to band together without even messages going out on Facebook, like a flash mob, like a flash mob is some secret thing. Meet here, without even some sort of general organization. Women have just this innate thing to just stick together and claim victimhood. There's probably something in their spirit, or all of y'all are bitches the same goddamn way, and nobody told you you're an out of order loudmouth bitch. What the hell? How imagine somebody's on the street saying, you a faggot, you gay, and all the men say, he's calling us all gay. That would be weird, right? Because now he talking to him. But to a woman, she feels some kind of connection, like Avatar. You ever see the movie Avatar where they're all connected and you cut down the tree and they all feel it? Like that bitch just went through the nation like a sonic wave. And I think that's worth studying. So yes, that's who it is, and you're welcome. What's the other question? Salakia.
There's no more other questions. Is the Officer 5000 Matabar says she watching our class, so she must like it.
Once again, it's worth studying. That's all I'm gonna say. It's something that's absolutely worth studying. Now, nobody said she was wrong for kicking the side. Nobody said she was wrong for swinging on the brothers. Nobody said she was wrong for abandoning the baby. But somehow, to correct her, you shake my head. Now, back to Pagaibo's thing. Pagaibo, I'm waiting for when Christ returns. I'm waiting for when Christ returns. And most people would think the Israelite school of UPK, or maybe just myself, hate women. It's not that. It's not. Your behavior is deplorable, but you are still my sister. If you wasn't, I wouldn't waste time on it. I wouldn't waste no time to try to correct it. But when Christ returns, the securities you have in the oppressor to do what you do to black men will be gone. The securities you have in the oppressor that provides you with food and shelter and clothing and warmth will be gone. The securities you have with the oppressor that teach you a certain culture and a certain way of life and a certain way to react, that's going to be gone. And all that's going to be left is the Israelite school of UPK and your hard head. I need that day to come. That day must come, or else there'll be many more of that. There'll be many more of, there'll be many more of that. There'll be a whole ton of correction. Part of the reason there's correction is because you trust in your oppressor so much. Now, you don't think we need a nation. You don't think, like, you will never see another nation's woman acting like that to men who stand for the nation. You'll never see that. You'll never see the Chinese doing that. You'll never see the African doing that. You'll never see the Japanese doing that, the East Indian. You'll never see them, none of them doing that. And they all beat and abuse their women. Them East Indians be chopping their woman up. A couple years ago, one did it in Dunkin' Donuts somewhere in PG County because she was whoring with somebody who would come and buy donuts, coffee every morning. Nigga found out, called her into, they both was running the shop. They both manager and assistant manager. And they employ other people. Called her in early in the morning and hacked her to pieces right in front of the drive-thru window. Right? But they don't come up against their men like that. They don't do nothing like that. But only our people, we are a rebellious house. Right? And it's something that most of us don't understand because the oppressor done worked his witchcraft of Christianity and just being anti-God. He done worked that witchcraft so well. We don't see that we're far off. We think we're normal. We think the way we react to things are normal. We think, the way life is now is normal. And that thing is absolutely abnormal. It's absolutely not normal. So, Pugaibo says, now, okay, this is what you would see, though. This is the mentality these brothers would have. They want this day to come. They want the day to come where they don't have to, give, what's the word I'm looking for? Concessions or make adjustments in their life to fit with the Romans, which is much how we live today. We make adjustments in our life to fit with the so-called oppressor, the white man, the so-called devil, right? The so-called white man, the devil, the Bible speaks of. We make adjustments in our life for it. We do certain things we, and I'm not talking criminal activity. I'm talking our culture, the way we do things. We have certain things we do as a people. The whole world does things because he's in charge. Well, when Christ returns, he's not going to be in charge no more. When Christ returns, Christ is going to be in charge. And his way is the only way. His way is going to rule. And that's what we all want. We all want it to be his way so that we rule. So that when we say Passover is April 1st, the whole world shuts down because it's Passover. You get the point? The Hamites shut down. The Chinese shut down. The Ethiopians, everybody shuts down because, Christ people, they're celebrating Passover this weekend. We can't sell nothing. We can't do nothing. And it's not far-fetched because you do it for 4th of July. You do it for Thanksgiving. You do it for their Christmas. You do it for them because they're in charge. When we're in charge, you're going to shut down for every high holy day. You better not catch you open on the Sabbath frying nothing. The priest will have judgment for you. Go ahead.
That's so heavy how you said it because we got to the world shut down for Thanksgiving and they celebrating killing our Native Americans.
Thank you.
Whereas on the Passover, the Africans going to have to shut down because we celebrating killing them. The Amalekites going to have to shut down.
I would reword it. I wouldn't say we celebrating killing them. We celebrate God's judgment on their nation. God judged them. He judged them in blood, though. But go ahead.
And the same thing with Purim, where it was Haman who was an Agagite, who was an Amalekite. Really, the Jewish man will have to shut down and celebrate that.
I mean, everybody gonna shut down now. The elephant's gonna have to stop. You know what I mean? Shapat, hit them 2 heaters for me, all right? Make sure they're straight. You get the point? So okay, so you understand that, guy? Well, that's this is what these brothers want because they're fully invested in what Christ is teaching. They follow him. Remember, these is 12 men. Just think about how that looks. They probably look like absolute nutcases in that time. Total nuts. Because, of course, they're not the majority. They're not rich. They're not clothed in purple, literally, because they make reference to the rich man being clothed in purple. They're not that. These is men following this nigga who, according to Isaiah, the book of Isaiah says, he was not tall in stature. He was unassuming. You know, you're familiar with that scripture? You're familiar with Pagaiboa? Right? He was not tall in stature. He was unassuming in nature. It literally says he was nothing to look at. And he's leading these 12 niggas who is prophesying against the Roman Empire, prophesying against the Sadducees and Pharisees, cutting the Sadducees and Pharisees, and his name ringing out. His name ringing out. It, they was in it, 10 toes down. You get the point? So now they're asking that thing. When will this time be? When will this time be? So now give me a question with that understanding of you find out who you are, you're following this man, there's a promise of something to come. You get the point? Now give me a question.
Sorry, sir, that changes my question now.
God damn. I think I give myself more work. I should have stopped talking 5 minutes ago. Most are in Christ.
This is how my question is reformed now.
Kazaki, she can sit on the brown chair. She might be a little bit more comfortable than all that. Go ahead,
All right, sir. The brothers, they wasn't talking about the world ending as in the age of society then. Because what I was thinking is like at that time, they're talking about the world's going to end. That's 2000. They're saying.
Okay, you're talking about the scripture? You're talking about the brothers in the scripture or in the school? Okay, in the school, they're not talking about the world being destroyed. They're talking about Christ coming back and we're going to be in charge. Right? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was thinking, what I initially was thinking was that, the year 2000, they called that the age of information.
Mm-hmm.
So would he be right by saying that 1999, that world is done away with? That world is over. He was right about the world being over because it's a new world, a new age of.
No, that wouldn't be because the age of information is something what you would call marketing, right? What did you find out in 2000 that was not known before? Okay, you didn't know it, but it was there. So you just didn't know it. It's not like, 2 Neanderthals stumble upon stone and fire. It's not like that. You get the point? Like they're now finding something out for the first time ever, and wherever. It's not like that. The age of information was marketing. That was marketing. That was on the verge of the cusp of the internet. Phones went from them little brick Nokias to the, flip phones, Motorola's, and that's just the age. Y2K. They stopped calling it 2000 or 1999. They didn't say 19K or 1.9K in 1900s. Y2K. They try to digitize the thing, the matrix, all that type of stuff. Because I take this here from there. Shalom, sir. Yeah.
Go ahead, God, boy. Yeah, your question, brother.
Yeah, well, sir. And if I may, we were just talking about the earlier brothers in the school. They had to split.
No sweat. It's like if I made to. If you just tuning in, make sure you like and share the stream. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Tap the screen if you're on TikTok. I think we got banned on TikTok last night. Salaki. Make sure you like and share the stream. Push the truth. Y'all like and share all them other goofy videos that's online. So it costs you nothing to share the stream. Push the truth. You understand? And Lord allow, we'll see you all April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. You understand? Get your preparations in order. It's going to be an excellent time. Salaki.
Okay, so Okay, so yeah, don't think of it like that world is going away with, and that's not what it is, right? What it is the Lord delayed his coming, right? The Lord delayed his coming. Chief Head Priest Ariade was right to say the Lord was coming in 2000 because that's when he was coming. You understand? And he delayed his coming. We went through Jonah a few weeks ago. I don't know if you remember Pagaiboa. Maybe you wasn't here. We went through the story of Jonah. You probably want to read it, right? Read the story of Jonah just for time's sake. Jonah was sent to prophesy to Nineveh, right? And tell Nineveh, if they don't change, I believe in those 40 days. I think he gave them a time. Say if they didn't change and repent in 40 days, the Lord will come and kill everybody. Nineveh listened. Head Priest Aria said, the year 2000, Christ is coming. Christ is coming. Negroes did not listen. And the Lord being who? Who's the Lord to us? Abba Nawa, our Father. If you ever are a father, you don't ever want to beat your children. You don't want to. If you're a father that wants to beat your children, you might want to get checked. But you don't absolutely want, you don't be like, I just waiting on them so I can bug them out. You don't want to do that. You're trying to delay you putting hands on them because it's going to be bad for them. It's going to be bad for you. You're going to hurt the relationship. Now you got to make shit up to them. You don't want to go through all that. You much rather they listen. A good father will give mercy. You ain't listening, I'm going to bust your ass. You know? If I come up there and that shit ain't straight, you're going to be in problems. You go to the room, the shit ain't straight, you got to make up another excuse now. You got to make up another excuse because you ain't trying to kick the living daylight out of them. You want them to obey you. The Lord is a father. The prophecy came, year 2000, the Lord is going to return. That was the prophecy given to Head Priest Aria, and he was right to prophesy it. Because why? He's a servant of the Lord. Right. Just like you are servants of the Lord, I'm a servant of the Lord. You can't go say what you want. Right. You got to go say what the Lord wants, even if what you say doesn't come to pass and you look like a fool. That's the price you pay for getting to know this truth. Right. That's the price you pay for being in here, for the Lord cleaning up your life, for the Lord giving you everything. Just go out there and speak out. Become a fool for the Lord's sake. That's also in the Bible, right? So that's what happened. Give me is it delayeth?
Matthew 24:48, sir.
I wonder if I want the one in Luke.
12:45.
Yeah, just now. Was it in Matthew 24:48? You said, right?
Sir.
Give me Luke 12:35. Start reading there. I'm gonna check out the one in Matthew.
Come. Luke 12. Luke chapter 12, verse 35. Let your loins be girded about and your lights burning. Verse 36.
Give me one in Matthew. Salakia. Give me Matthew 24:45. It's the same account in Luke 12:41. It's really the same account. Matthew 24 and start at verse 45.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 45. Who then is a faithful and wise servant whom his Lord has made ruler over his household to give them meat in due season? Verse 46.
Right, so that's what he's asking. Who then? This is written in red. This is Christ asking. So who then is a faithful and good servant? Right? Where's the phones? We don't have the phones in school?
Council, yeah. We have the phones over here.
They ain't good to go?
Yes, they're good to go, but we're not up on TikTok.
You'll talk to me after about that. Go ahead. So now he's asking, who's there is a faithful and a good servant. That's a heavy question too, right? Because to know if you're a faithful and wise servant, how would you know if you're a faithful and wise servant? How will you know if you have a faithful and a wise servant?
Based off of their work.
That's what you would think.
Counsel.
If the servant can learn from correction and punishment,
you onto it. You onto it. Go ahead.
If the servant doesn't make the same mistake twice,
you onto it. You onto it. Anybody else? No? If this servant does work, you have a servant who is full of work. That doesn't test your faith or your wisdom. You know if you have a faithful servant when that servant his faith gets tested. How you know if you have a faithful wife that she home with you every day? How you'll know? When something tests her faith. Right. And that's how you'll know, well, I have a faithful rib because XYZ. Just think the same thing. How you'll know if you have a good car? Because you started every day and the engine cut on? Nah. You would know because this thing take you here, there, and everywhere. And this thing was out of this and blah, blah, blah. And it stood the test of the time. A faithful servant is a servant who, when his faith gets tested, he shows up the next day. Versus somebody who faith get tested and y'all don't have the truth, man. Really and truly, y'all never had the truth. Because I remember, and they start building a case so that the lack of faith here doesn't show. You get the point? Or if not building a case, every little gripe, every little, whatever in their mind is a transgression from, the first day when they came in and the brother gave them a stern shalom and not a shalom with love. I heard it. I'm telling you, I heard it straight out the horse's mouth, coming in through that same door you all come through. So y'all don't have no love. What the fuck is he talking about? But he wants hugs and kisses and he wants, hey, shalom, brother, how you doing? That don't mean Christ is black. Right. So because the shalom come, hey, shalom, yeah, let me search you. Because it comes like that. Right. And Christ ain't black no more. The Jews ain't black. What you want? Your faith get tested. Now I'm just using that as a small example, but that's not what really tests your faith. What really tests your faith is later down the line. Later down the line, think David. Think Job is it. But I don't like to give Job as the example because everybody think the first time they lose the slavery, they go read Job and shit. Job didn't have a slave, Negro. Job had slaves. He was an employer. He wasn't the employee. You get the point? David is a good example of it. Right? David is, for all intents and purposes, David comes from a background that's every brother. Just a regular brother having a slave, a low slave, nobody looking at you. You feeling yourself, and out of the blue one day you get a break that changes your life. Peter, and Christ knew he wouldn't pass that test. He knew it because he seen what's going on. But then now, could you say Peter wasn't faithful before? Hell no. But after that test, Peter's faith was tested. He failed the test, and then he learned from it after. He was a wise servant and a faithful servant because now he comes back after and he learned from his mistake. You get the point? So that's it. Who's a wise and faithful servant? That's what Christ is asking. And he's asking that because your faith gonna have to be tested. This is something where you're gonna sit by and be like, well, why is this happening? Because I've been doing X, Y, Z, A, B, C, blah, blah, blah. Why is this happening? And you either pass the test or you fail the test.
It's just like the man that came up to Christ when he says, I've done all these things. What more can I do to inherit the kingdom of heaven? And he said, sell everything, follow me. And he just...
Okay, well, I wouldn't use him. He's greedy. He's not faithful because he was not ever tied to the faith. You get the point? He was not part of the body. You get the point? I wouldn't use him for that. Go ahead.
Can we use Joseph?
Joseph. Christ's father?
With Joseph in Egypt. That became the second in command.
Okay. How you would use it?
Well, you know, he was faithful to the Lord. He got tested with his master's wife.
You could use Joseph. You could definitely use Joseph. I'll give you a better one. Judas.
Yeah.
Judas was not a faithful servant or wise.
Right.
He was not faithful at all. Or wise.
Right.
Yeah. The test came and he failed his test. Right? Keep reading. Whoever was reading.
Whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household to give them meat in due season.
Right? A faithful servant, the Lord made ruler over his own household to give meat in due season. Why? Why is he saying it like that? I'm gonna break this first part down, say on the sample. Guy, but this is your question, and so you might want to, lock in on it. All right. Why is he asking that? Why is he saying this? A faithful servant who he gonna make ruler over his house to give meat in due season. Anybody?
So this is still him asking the question, sir?
Yeah. He's saying, who then is a faithful servant, a wise servant, who the Lord had made ruler over his household to give them meat in due season? Go ahead, Pagaibo.
If I may, this question, it sounds like the servant who is faithful that comes back, that learned from their mistakes, is going to get. He's asking, who is the servant that's going to get a reward when the time comes?
That's no okay. A faithful servant is twisted. Go ahead. Not twisted, but it's not how you would think a faithful servant would get. Go ahead.
I could be off. It kind of sounds like Christ is talking in third person. Is he talking in the beginning when he say, "Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord like? Who then is a faithful and wise servant?" He's talking about, like I said, third person. Like he's really talking about himself, who gave him, who his Lord had made ruler over his household, like the Lord made the Christ, like Christ is.
No, this is a parable he teaching these disciples. This is a parable he's teaching them what's going on. What you want to do, guy? When you pull the screen in, when you push the door in, don't push it forcefully because the air pocket gonna push it back out. All right. Okay, a faithful servant's reward is what?
Is it saying because he's wise that he'll be able to decide when it's time to provide for his household?
That's exactly what it's saying. It's saying that he's faithful and he's wise. So this person, the Lord is going to leave in charge of the house because he'll provide meat in due season. Like there's going to come a time where it's going to be rough.
Right.
But this faithful servant, he's in charge and he's going to provide for this house. What is the reward of a faithful servant? Yes, but I don't like to describe it as that. I like to say it's more work to get the vanity out your ass. Because vanity could make you strive for power. And when you touch it, you realize it's too much work. It's too much work. A faithful servant gets more work.
Could you use a Pharaoh
where the Lord gave talents, and then he gave them more talents.
Yes.
More work.
Yep. That's it. It's more work. The work equals the power. But if your only thing is power and you don't understand that this thing comes with work, it'll crush you. It'll crush you. Right? Keep going. Whoever was reading.
Come on. Verse 46. Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing.
Exactly. That servant, when the Lord cometh, that servant who he left, when the Lord comes, he wants to find that servant doing what? Working. Doing the job I put you there to do. He's going to be pleased, and then he's going to do what with the servant? Give him more. Just give him more. Man, you held this thing down. I couldn't believe this shit. You know what? Go over there, tell so-and-so, give you the plans, give you the whole thing, give you last year's schedule. Yeah, and just have him report it. That's how it's going to come down to. So yeah, just have him report it. And before long, you're running over there, over there, because you're just such an excellent servant. You're going to get more work. We have a saying in the UPK, the best troopers make the best officers. The best officers make the best captains. The best captains make the best general. It's really a trooper who he's never stopped being that type of person all the way. And that's Commander Johnny Yahanna. Right. You understand? That's how he came in, and everything he put his hands on, he treated just like how we treat the school now. Right. Faithful and with wisdom. So he gets more. Gets more and more and more, and that's your reward. Right. Your reward is more work. Power comes with it, but it's really the work. Right? Keep going.
Verse 47. Verily, I say unto you that he shall make him ruler over all his goods.
Right. Ruler over all his goods. The unfaithful and a servant who is not wise looks like what? It doesn't look like a burden straight up and down. So a servant who is not faithful and not wise, ruler over all his goods, looks like a reward, more power. It looks like all this is mine. Right. It ain't yours. You're an husbandman. You know what that term means? Break it down.
Like you're married to the land, like a farmer.
A husbandman is an old term for a farmer.
Right.
Animal husbandry, this is what it used to be called.
Right.
Where somebody owns the farm, you the person dealing with the animals. Okay. These animals is not yours, but you overseeing it for somebody else. Right. So now there's a reward to come with it. You're gonna get paid. You're gonna get, the power, the glory. But these animals, if these animals ain't successful and striving, then you are not over the situation like you should be. You get the point? Let's go.
But and if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming.
Now, that's what I say. Now, if that evil servant, the one who is not working, the one who is not faithful, the one who's not wise, if that evil servant said, my Lord delayeth his coming, right? Go ahead.
And shall begin to smite his fellow servants and to eat and drink with the drunken.
All right. So now, okay, let's unpack that verse before. If that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, what is that really saying? For guy boy. That particular servant who was left in the Lord's stead. I want to say the Lord, for this purpose, don't think Christ. Just think a boss or a manager or a rich man who has a ton of land and factories or whatever, and he leave you to run the shit like how he would run it. But the evil servant saying in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming. What is that saying?
The evil servant is saying that he's in control right now. You ain't other people you ain't got to worry about. I got it.
Not quite. Okay, for him to say that my Lord delayeth his coming, what must have happened before?
that the Lord saw something was wrong and he had to come and correct.
No, delay. To delay your coming is to do what?
Oh, to push it back.
All right. All right.
He didn't come at the expected time.
What's the expected time?
Whenever it was told to him.
So somebody had to tell the servant when the Lord was returning.
Right.
You following me now with your question? The servant was told the Lord was coming back at a certain time. And the Lord delayed his coming. And this servant, even the whole thing, the Lord delayed his coming. That's what I brought out before. When you're doing something and you just can't wait for the shit to be done. You're running this race and you're like, fucking hell. Where's the finish line? There's a tape over there. You start running to any tape to thinking that's the finish line because you can't go through. You can't suffer it. You're just not faithful. You're selfish. You're self-full. You're full of self. But you're not full of faith where you are going to hold this on if it means you die holding on to this thing. You're going to hold on to it no matter what. You get the point? That's a faithful servant. The one who says the Lord delayed, he delayed his coming. It's like, oh boy, it's like, it's like perfect. Everybody had a slave here, right? Everybody at some point in time probably worked a slave where you get relieved on your shift. And you get that call that one day you was trying to go home. You and your woman had something planned, you and your husband had something planned, and you get that call, hey, your relief coming in 2 hours. What? Now you put the phone on mute first. you put the phone on mute first. You don't say, you there? Fuck! Yeah. So you know what? I was gonna stay anyway. Don't worry, don't sweat that. That's this thing here testing. That's just think that reaction. Right. And now this servant, because he's not faithful anything, right. Now he started to be reckless with what he's over. Right. You get the point? Remember, come on.
Sorry, so is it that because the Lord delayed his coming, he's taking it out and he doesn't want to be in.
He don't want to be in that position.
Yeah, he's taking it out on.
He's being reckless. He's just. That's really what he really is not fit for that job. He's not a good fit. You can't leave him there too long. It's this thing you're playing sports, any sport, and for some reason, a player who usually plays on the left had to fill in for somebody on the right. You had to find a replacement quickly because he'll fall out quick. Because he ain't built for that shit. He just holding on just because. Then there's a player who, wherever you tell him go play, he gonna play that shit like he was born for that. Not because because you told him to do it. And he's faithful to you. He gonna go out there and not make you look like you don't know what the hell you're doing. The whole NBA watching you. Like, what's wrong with this coach? He has a center playing small forward. Now, if he go out there and he play like a small forward, they're gonna say, man, that coach is genius. He probably knew he could do this in practice. That's how you know a good coach. He knows how to use. You get the point? Because he's a faithful servant. You get the point? It's like that. Right? Go ahead.
Oh, God. And the Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Right. So now take that to your question, Pagaiboa. So that's okay. You could that's in a essence, in a way, part of what happened after the year 2000. There's several videos out where the general explained it. Okay, as the school grew, some men were unfaithful servants, and some men did not want to yield to the brothers who was over them. And as the school, when it started off small, the school was small, and it started to grow. And as it grew, those men rose in rank and power and did not want certain men over them, certain things they disagreed with, right? Certain things they disagree with. And of course, the year 2000 was the finish line in many men's mind, right? If Christ come back tonight, brother, your life is going to get significantly harder. I'll tell you straight up. Now you're really going to be an officer of whatever rank you're at. Right. You do 500, you're going to have 500 Negroes with 500 families and 500 children that you cannot go to sleep if they have problems. Don't think, oh, Christ come back, we're at the finish line. Don't think like that. That's not how this thing goes. Right. He returns. Now it's time to go build the kingdom. What you want him to do it? Right. Now it's time to go get things in order. Now you're really going to have to start a work. You're really going to have to get things done. What happened when Moses walked us out of Egypt? We went to Club 4040. We went to, what's it one on 14th Street? We went to Club Park. No, work started. Organizing started. And as the organizing started, what happened? You found out who was the wicked servant, which was Korah and Dathan and them. Right. Moses left them. Him and Joshua went up the mount. They came back down. What the hell is going on? Them Negroes was waiting. And then it's like, Moses, what he do? Moses left us. What is he doing? Let's go back to Egypt. And the people want to do this, and they ain't really built for that shit. Right. They're not really built for it. And Moses saw it that day, and he realized these is not faithful servants. These is not. Joshua was faithful. Right. Joshua was faithful all the way to the end. Him and Caleb. You get the point? It's really like that. So it's a combination of those things. It's a combination of men's pride, really not believing in what they're teaching. That's another thing. You're teaching it, but you're not living and dying by this thing. Of course, the year 2000 prophecy, they're looking for it. And then, okay, the general, he'll explain it more. A lot of people turned on Arya at that time and called them all sorts of things. And that could destroy a man if you are father. Imagine your child turns to you and washes their mouth on you. That's an old school way. They wash their mouth, meaning every dirty thing in their mouth, they wash it out on you. You know, this is now they ain't do it when, you know, you 35 and they 10. When you could throw them across the damn football field. They do it when you're a little older, when you done gave them everything. And now the natural way of life is you depending on them. You get the point? Just like they depending on you. That's when they do it. It's a rough situation. But there was one son who did not do it. And just like they turned on head priest Arya, they also turned on him. And brother went to plot and destroy and try to take, and damn near took everything but his faith and his wisdom, his loyalty, his discipline, and that's Commander General Yahanna. And he went to rebuild everything that they destroyed, that they was not strong enough to hold on to, that they wasn't disciplined enough to hold on to. He went to rebuild the house that men abandoned. You get the point? And that's a good and faithful servant. Where it's like a son, a good son. It don't matter what time daddy come home. It don't. Right. It really don't. A child only checks when the time daddy come home when. I almost get here for time's sake. Y'all could call my woman hater if I want. Salak, says this is not you. When mommy tells that child daddy out doing some other shit. A child doesn't think about nothing but just, okay, the door ain't open, so daddy in here. They go about playing. Then mommy comes and says, or the child goes to the mother or somebody else. The child is going to ask, well, when is so-and-so? When is so-and-so? And then that person could either say, man, he going to get here when he gets here. Keep playing. Don't worry about it. Right. He going to be happy. He handling some business. Keep playing. Or somebody could be like, man, he always lying. He ain't gonna never show up. He really don't like you. That's why he comes late all the time, because he don't want to be there. And that person starts getting a warped thing of it. Right. A good child that's not going to be the thought. A good child is just going to be happy when you come through the door. Right. Our responsibility is to be a good child. You're going to have to be in here until Christ comes, or else you're not a faithful servant. That's why this thing is so long. That's why this thing is so stretched out. It's long. It's like, okay, well, when is this going to happen? It seemed like you're breaking down, Revelations 13 and 1 and 13 forever. You hear people say it. Oh, all your teachers, Christ is black and blah blah blah. We in the long race. You go ahead and shoot your 22. We mount how it, nigga. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of screws. You wanna screw in 2 screws and now you're ready for war. All right, go ahead. Do your thing. Come on. No sweat, I have some shop there. Go ahead.
So I'm just saying it's so heavy, and just like for brothers that may not know the history, there's a video that I've seen many times. I'm trying to find it, I couldn't find it, where the chief head priests were praising Commander General.
Oh, I have it. You know I have it. You know I have that shit. Listen, I like it. I'm the white. I'm the Y2K scribe. In 1999, everything was written. In the year 2000, everything was digital. I'm just in the minority report. Pull this down, put this here, swipe that off. You know I got it.
But in the video, they literally say, I think Commander Yahanna was a captain at that time, and like the chief head priest was like, this brother right here, I think it was like Captain Yahanna. He's like, I want y'all to see how he's operating in his zone. Pretty much he was saying, I want everybody. I
believe it was a high holiday or council. Because they all was there. Everybody was garmented up. All right, go ahead.
He was just saying the way this brother is, and he has a care for the men under him, and then the way he just operates in the zone and gets the work done. He was like, I want everybody to look at his example and do what he's doing.
They said, this is what we like to see. Everybody needs to be like him. You know what that would have done to anybody who in the crowd there. Nigga pull out the banana like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I ain't feeling that shit, bro. Yeah, man. And from that, of course, a whole ton of mess happened. You ain't gonna get too much details of it. Okay, and this is the other thing. This is the other thing of a good, faithful servant too. All right. Forgot, but you're gonna definitely want this one. Genesis 9 and 20.
It's like can I pull Ecclesiastes 3 and 20?
Let me hear that. Go ahead.
Glory not in the dishonor of thy father.
Take that one too, Pagaibo, all right?
For thy father's dishonor.
Read it again and tell him where you are.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 3, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Glory not in the dishonor of thy father.
Mm-hmm.
For thy father's dishonor is no glory unto thee.
Right? Glory not in the dishonor of thy father. Because thy father's dishonor, that ain't no glory to you. Right? And that's okay. That's how this world is. This world is wired like that. This world is wired where the power passes by somebody taking the power, not honorable transition where somebody say you in charge now. Right. The power always has to be this young something taking it from this person who this young person learned from. And you see it in sports. That's why they made that Hamite fight Anderson Silva when he was an old man. That's why who's the dude who beat up Muhammad Ali when he was old?
Not really old. I think it was Lennox Lewis.
No, not Lennox Lewis.
Larry Holmes.
That's why they do that, because that's how the oppressor, he wants to do things. He, go in there and beat him up good, and you'll see that so much. That's the LeBron and Jordan shit. That's that thing. That's that's why it's pushed so much, right? One aspect of it, I should say. The other aspect, of course, is the stats and shit. But there's been many great players before LeBron, and there was never that type of push. There was never that type of push for it. But the whole thing is, it's really that. It's a young generation, old, and the respect doesn't go. And now, because of it, it doesn't go both ways. Right. At first, it would just be, damn, what the hell are you doing? Now, because of the prolonging of it, the whole culture of Esau is, it's really the fittest, the survival of the fittest. Right. It's really pushing the survival of the fittest. And physically, the fittest one, the one who's stronger, is going to be the younger one. Right. because Esau is carnal, and all his empires are carnal, and there's no wisdom in it. You get the point? So you could take that one. Give me Genesis 9 and 20 per guy boy.
Come. Genesis chapter 9, verse 20. And Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard.
Right? He began to be a husbandman, which that's the old word for farmer. He began to be a husbandman. He planted a vineyard. This is after they came off the ark, being on there for however long, 40 days, 40 nights, and then some. I forget how much weeks or months it was after, before the waters subdued, right? Or subsided. And Noah, he planted a vineyard, right? A vine with grapes, right? Go ahead.
Come, verse 21. And he drank of the wine and was drunken.
And he drank of the wine. And because why? Because he out there on that ark, and it's destruction, and it's just him, and he might need a drink after it, right? Go ahead.
Come. And he was uncovered within his tent.
So he drank, and he was uncovered, right? He wasn't clothed properly. I ain't got to tell you. You grab a good drink, you might just, sprawl out wherever you at. You in your house, that ain't nothing wrong with that shit, right? Go ahead.
Come. Verse 22. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. Verse 23. And Shem.
Right. So now he told his two brothers without. Meaning what? What for guy? Well, what did they do?
He was inside. He saw his father, and his brothers were outside.
And when he say he told his brothers without, what does that mean? What did he tell them?
He told them about their father's nakedness, that he was drunk in the tent.
In what kind of way?
Oh, sorry. In a disrespectful way.
He went out there to mock his father, right? Go ahead.
Come. Verse 23. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father.
Right, and these two good sons, they took a cloak, right, or a coat or a mantle, and they put it on their shoulders, and they faced the outside of the tent, and they walking backwards, glancing over until they know where they reach, and they throw the cloak over their father so they don't see him in his nakedness. They don't want to ever see their father or have the image in their mind of their father in a place that's less than honorable, less than how they see him. That's what a good son would do, right? Unfortunately, there were a lot of people who came out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, who were not good sons. Unfortunately, for me, fortunately, but unfortunately for y'all, for me, I'm whatever. But Commander Johnny Yahanna has never ever spoken bad about none of those men, ever. I remember being camped in DC, and he's saying people would come up and ask. This was the days when YouTube just started. I didn't even know shit about YouTube. People would come up and ask, "Are you so and so and you so and so?" And he might talk to them on the side while we putting up the equipment, and you would hear him say, "The day Aria sent for me, I'm coming for him." All he had to do was call. And that was it. And the type of relationship that was. That was I don't care what you saying. If you pick up the phone and call me, I'll come running like, I was in rank, in order, same way. You get the point? So he's never spoken ill about those men. In fact, the first time I even heard about Taha is that time when they came up against Tazariak and Captain Tawan and Tazariak. You get the point? That's the first time I even know who the hell they was, because he never spoke about those men, never spoke anything about them. And even at that point, before things got heated, he would always be like, "Yeah, he was in 1 West. Them men, them brothers was hardcore on the streets." It would just be like he would never say nothing ill until of course they went overboard with the shit and trying to threaten those brothers. And of course he come defend his men. You get the point? But here you see these brothers, they was very faithful. They was very faithful. They was honorable. They was wise. They was disciplined, and they didn't want to shame their father. Right? Keep reading, Pagaibo.
Oh God. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. Verse 24.
Go ahead.
And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done unto him. Verse 25. And he said, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants."
Right? He awoke and he knew what his younger son did. Meaning, yeah, he might have been drunk and laid out, but he saw and heard what the hell you said, Negro. Right? He saw and he heard it. And that's one thing you don't want to be. Don't be simple. That's all I could tell you. Don't be simple. And from here, he cursed Ham, he cursed Canaan. Canaan is the lowest of the low.
Right.
You understand? Shem and Japheth, we of course descend from Shem, and Japheth, is not like the Hamites, not like Canaan. Right. You don't want to be that type of son. You don't want to be weak. You don't want to be soft. You don't want to be. You're so easy to break. You're so easy to break. Year 2000 come. It didn't happen. Nothing is wrong with the truth. Now you had to figure out, okay, what is the Lord saying? The Lord is a father. If you ever had a father, brother, there ain't no plan. Well, there's a plan, but the plan is whatever he said. So wherever he go, and he turn left, he turn right, whatever, he gonna figure this shit out. You gonna know you gotta buckle down and get the thing. So now with that happening, and of course, remember by that time the school is big. There's schools in California, there's schools all over. They're on the streets, people hearing it. Now you had to come January 2nd and go to camp. It's not 2000 yet. You had to stand there and handle that. Some men couldn't handle it. Plus all the other nonsense that brothers is beefing and fighting over the doctrines. That same GMS was always into the white woman, always wanted to get the other nations in. A whole ton of nonsense happened, and that's when men dropped their sword, when men defected and dropped their sword. I found Lord for the days that they did not, so we could learn the truth and the truth could be here and be preserved. Everything they did after, then that's on them. I have nothing more to say on it. That's on them. But whatever the 7 heads laid down and the men who warred with Commander Yahanna, that's what we have today. That's the truth. That's the stone cold truth. And no matter what offense comes or whatever you did not understand, it doesn't change the fact that the truth is the truth. Right. You get the point? So I don't know if that answers your question a little bit better. All right. Go ahead,
It's like I said, if I may, and what you said is so heavy. Coming into the UPK and just steady growing in the truth, it really can show you a lot of dishonorable things about yourself in the sense of like how in the world we so used to, like, I remember me and my siblings, we would get together and like we would bond over dishonoring our father. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like something that we would bond over. And it's like until you come into the truth, you don't realize how just dishonorable and disgusting and cowardly that shit is.
Yeah, it's okay. It definitely okay. It feel good to take a dump on somebody who can't smack you upside the head.
Right.
You get the point?
Right.
It feel good to do the shit when you're in the world, but as you say, when you come in here, you get a total different respect for a man's strength.
Right.
And what he could do and what he has to put up with and put forward. You have a whole different respect for it. And you should have a different respect for it. And if you don't, believe you me, you're gonna learn really fast. The Lord gonna put you in a position where you're gonna remember being that little child that don't respect you or that you can't see or some shit. You're gonna remember it and be like, oh, this is what happened. Let me go call that nigga. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say so also. I got mine to say it was so heavy because of course, like I didn't do the same thing as well. And I can remember a time me and my brother in the world, we was in the flesh. We was in the kitchen and we was talking back and forth, whatever. And it was my father's graduation that day, because they grad school or something like that. And it was his graduation that day or something. And my brother in the kitchen talking all type of, whatever, man, damn, I ain't trying to go to none of that. And I'm like, it was the one time that I didn't talk trash. And I was just like, man, I don't know, man. He done went to all my games. He done did all of this. He done did all that. I said, man, we should go over there and support him. He talking heavy mess. I'm talking about heavy mess. So he like, man, damn that, man. I don't even want to go to this junk. He did the same thing with my brother with the sports and just being all supportive and whatnot. So I'm like, man, you tripping, man. So I went around the corner, going back upstairs to get ready. My father was sitting right there on the steps, listening the entire time of the conversation. When I looked at him, he just came up, he hugged me, and then he walked into the kitchen. As I'm going up the stairs, you gotta imagine I'm a kid. I'm like, that boy got to get behind. So I'm like, oh, Steve. I said, I can't believe it. I said, boy, is it for you, man? You get no gifts, no nothing. I said, and for me, I'm like, I'm the golden child for a second, because I'm like, he just heard me say all of the right things. So, but you know, of course,
but he probably heard you say the wrong things at another time.
Yeah. So, I'm just like, but nonetheless, I say that to say, man, like, I can imagine like this, the hurt you got to hear when you and your sons, talk bad about you when you know that you done did A, B, C, D, F, G with a father, all of that. So that was one of the moments that I never forgot. That it was just like, man, I could only imagine, what was going through his head as he just sat there and listened the whole time, and
Don't want to imagine it. Right. Don't hope that should never happen to you. That's all I could say. Hope it never happens. And okay, most people don't consider it, but what happened for sure and where Commander Yahanna come, like where he had to restart. I mean, I don't know how he do it. Right. He had every reason to say fuck it. Right. There's every reason just to say, you know what, it's just me against the world. Whatever, kamikaze, it's over.
So there's a question online.
No sweat. Hold on. Let me. Says the question is there volume on that one?
Concert.
Okay, play it on that one. The volume, my audio here is gonna be jammed up. Let me see if you all could hear it. Are you able to hear it?
Hear a little bit. It's a little low.
All right. You could see if the people online could hear it. Okay, this is the video that Kazak was just talking about from Philly.
It's definitely online.
Right. You see on all the heads there, all the brothers. That's Commander Yahanna right there. I think that's Yeshaya. Right, there's a few of them. Well, I can't hear it. The audio on this is a little jammed, and I don't want to play it. But okay, it's the part. Hold on, it's towards the end where he made everybody stand. I'm going to listen for it, and I'm going to play it again at the end of the class, all right? Where they say, what he's doing, that's what we want to see, right? They say it. They actually say it. I'm going to listen for it, and I'm going to play it again at the end of the class. So you can see. Or not.
Please, sir.
Or not. Or not. I'm not even there. I don't know what else, But go ahead.
So I believe this is from the young brother down in Florida. His name is Yahanna. He says, so as the people that watch the truth and do what y'all say to do, but cannot join the truth cannot join the truth as of right now, how should we move in these last days? I believe it's a young brother, 15-year-old.
Okay, read this question again.
Kyle Khan says, so as the people that watch the truth and do what y'all say to do, but cannot join the truth as of right now, how should we move in these last days?
Okay, you could for sure be in the truth. There's no such thing as you can't join the truth. You reach up the age where you could function, you could for sure be in the truth. What you want to do again is call the camp leader. Call that brother who's in charge of that city, that faithful steward who's in charge of that city that you're in, and explain your situation to him. Explain what is the reason that you think you can't do something. What you want to understand is when you're in the world, your limit is the front door. Anything outside the front door that, it requires you to go that far, that is not your slavery, or is not some, some piece of tail, some nasty piece of tail, or some drug. That front door is your barrier. You out of bounds. That's your ceiling. your limit is so small when you're in the world. Your limit for anything that's outside of your lust. When it's all outside of your lust, you do whatever. You know what I mean? You do whatever. You'll go however far to do what, whatever it is. But when you come in the truth, you find out that your limit, you don't have a limit. You could do whatever. You could do anything. You just want to call and get some counsel on how to do it. But you could do whatever you want to do in the work of the Lord, and there will be no stopping it. It's not going to be easy, but you can do it. So, okay, the statement, you cannot do this now, that's what you think. That's what you think. Right? I remember being young in the truth. We was in Esau's damn school, me and Captain Nanfak. And we at the school, and we going to camp. And then General said, what y'all could do in that school? And I was like, I don't know. And we up there giving lectures in the damn college. We did some lecture on Eddie Long, brother. And some broad lost it and went upstairs and called the president and the provost, and they all came and sat down there, and we had to talk about here child molester, here faggot, this, that, the other, and break down Christ. And then they got up and left, and they said, keep doing what you're doing, and went right back upstairs. And I was like, well, good night, brother. I thought we was going to get kicked out. I thought that's like general shit. They're going to ship my ass back to Trinidad. That's it. There's something you could do everywhere. You think you can do something because in your mind, the thing you could do is what you see on the camp tapes. That's the final product, and it's a very powerful part of the truth, and it's a major part of the truth. But it's about 5% of the truth. It's about 5% of it, because the rest of it is life. It's everything from that camp day to the next camp day. That's what you really want to get involved in. There's something you could do. There's definitely something you could do. Sisters don't go to camp. You think there ain't something for them to do? Listen, we'll find something for you to do. Don't worry about it. You could fully be in the truth. Just call your camp leader and explain the reason you think you can't do the work of the Lord, and you'll find that we'll really see if you're faithful now. So when you get them orders to go do that other thing, if you shy away from it, it had nothing to do with you couldn't do the work of the Lord. No, you just didn't want to do it anyway. You're gonna get orders to go do something until you is gonna be like, what? You better go do it. Good.
Okay. There's a statement online, but I believe that person
if I'll get
was on the other one. Was on the YouTube.
Okay, no sweat. What was it?
The statement was. It was from the Khalid Muhammad. He says, remember that your supremacy and arrogance in the land will be destroyed by God, as stated in the Quran. The last exaltation and corruption of the Jews of the earth will end.
Blah, blah, blah. Right? Blah, blah. As it states in the Quran. Blah. All right, nigga. You'll kill thousands of people every year in that Hajj.
Right.
You got more shit to worry about supremacy. You know what I mean? You'll go fix that Hajj, right? Because I need all my Arab slaves. I need all of them. I need good oil. I need that patchouli oil. I need good ass oil. Whatever else you Arabs good for, that halal and that what's that thing where they cut it in a circle and they cut it down? No, it's like a meat. That's Greeks or that's the Arabs? That's the Arabs, right? That's what it is? What is it called? Shawarma. Y'all ain't gonna be calling it that in the kingdom. But I need all of that shit. You gotta find a different name for that shit. A shawarma. The kebab shit, right? It's a big piece of meat and it be on a stick, and they come and decide to just saw the shit off. Yeah, y'all killing shawarma chefs, man. I need some good shawarma chefs in the kingdom. Talking about, so you worry about supremacy. I'll show you some supremacy when Christ comes back. Right. You gonna pray for classes at that time. You're complaining for classes now. In that day, you're gonna pray that classes come back. So all they could do is hear about it. Right. All right, where we at? Let me get that article with the Russians, the Ruskies.
This is the BBC News. U.S. drone crashes after encounter with Russian jet. The The incident highlights the increasing risk of direct confrontation between Russia and the U.S. over the Ukraine war. The U.S. says the drone was on a routine mission in international airspace when 2 Russian jets tried to intercept it. Russia said the drone crashed after a sharp maneuver and denied the 2 aircraft made direct contact. So like the Russian Defense Ministry also said the MQ-9 Reaper drone was flying.
The Reaper. This oppressor boy. He called the drone the Reaper. Go ahead.
The Russian Defense Ministry also said that the MQ-9 Reaper drone was flying with its transponders turned off. Transponders are communication devices that allow the aircraft to be tracked. Reaper drones are surveillance aircraft with a 20mm, 66-foot wingspan. The incident happened around 7:03 Central European Time on Tuesday, according to the U.S. military.
Right, them drones be big as shit. That ain't that little thing you be flying around on the cookout. That drone is like a little tank on the street. It's a 66-foot wingspan. That's a plane, huh? That's a full-out plane, and that thing ain't got no man in it. They say the whole thing be full of gas. That's why we could fly for days and just monitor shit. Because up there ain't no man. Some nigga with a joystick, in some little truck somewhere with a red light over his head. It's like, and he flying. He playing Top Gun. Any more?
Our MQ-9 aircraft was conducting routine operations in international airspace when it was intercepted and hit by a Russian aircraft, resulting in crash and complete loss of the MQ-9, the statement said. Several times before the collision, the Su-27 fighter jet dumped fuel on the drone in a reckless, environmentally unsound, and unprofessional manner, it said. The U.S. summoned the Russian ambassador to Washington, Anatoly Antonov, to protest against
Antonov. He got to be vicious. They gave him the same name twice. Anatoly Antonov. God damn. Go ahead.
To protest against the move. Following the meeting, Russian state media quoted Antonov as saying that Moscow saw the drone incident as a provocation. Tensions have risen over the Black Sea ever since Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014. Since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the U.S. and the U.K. have stepped up reconnaissance and surveillance flights always operating in international airspace.
Right. So, okay, now you're going to hear more of these things happening, right? More of these, unauthorized flights, flight patterns, drones, buzzing these countries' borders, and this is just more of it's going to increase. This is just more of the prophecies of the Bible that we're very close to World War III, and very close. Don't think next 2 years. Think that this is not 19 when the Wright brothers did their thing in 1909, somewhere around there. Don't think early 1900s where they're just discovering flight. You get the point? Don't think that. Don't think 1800s or 1700s where they're just getting into the to putting engines on boats, and before they used to rely on the sails and the wind, right? Just think it's getting closer and closer and closer. Once again, you don't want to put a time on nothing. You want to watch and pray. That's what the scripture says. Watch and pray. You're watching for the signs and you're praying for signs. You're going to pray for signs and you're going to go watch for the signs. And this is in for the long haul. And this is just more signs of what's going to happen. So now Russia come and, put that drone down on the ground. What's the price of a drone? How much million? Who knows so far?
Yeah. That's something.
What is saying?
He's showing the regular drones.
So you'll look up the Walmart drones.
It's 700,000, sir. They range from 1 million to
to 25 million, including all the systems.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's 700,000. That ain't even. Yeah, that ain't enough.
Right.
That's probably the wing. Go ahead.
It's like I had the price for the Reaper drone. 32 million.
Yeah, it's about that with everything in it, with all the the sensors and the satellite and the remote shit. Well, 32 million. So they just lost 32 million down there today. Now that's nothing for America. Their budget is in billions for the military budget. However, that can't go unanswered.
Right.
So of course you better look for some bombing of some building, some bridge, something to push them back. They're not going to allow Russia to do that to them, or they're going to fly some more.
Right.
They're going to start with this kind of like a pissing contest.
Right.
Tit for tat type situation to try to equalize this whole thing. Now, we in real, flashpoint times where anything could spark it off. Go ahead. Let me hear you.
Micro drones and nano drones, about 195,000 per unit. Small technical drones.
Nah, that's not this thing here.
Yeah, it's going up. Sir.
Yeah, that you gotta go all the way up. That thing there, that's not what this thing here, brother, is almost the size of a jet, It's almost the size of a fighter jet. You get the point? Ain't no fighter jet, no $195,000. That's that's a Bentley. Niggas ain't flying no Bentleys. Go ahead.
He said the medium-sized reconnaissance drones are 140 million.
I'll take that. I'll take anywhere in that figure. You know what I mean? The ESOS planes is ridiculous. That Concorde, that stealth bomber, is the Concorde is the one they retired. It's a black one that was just, the shit was the baddest thing in the sky, but it was too expensive to keep up. But it was the baddest thing in the sky. That stealth bomber ain't got nothing on that thing I'm talking about. That Concorde with the angle neck. Yeah. And that shit will drag across the sky and you will not hear it. You'll just see the thing coming, and that's that. You know what I mean? Come on.
It was supposed to go from like London to New York in like 2 hours time. It's supposed to go like hypersonic or something.
Yeah, and this is one of their reconnaissance stuff, right? This is not a commercial plane I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about is a black plane. It's not the stealth. It's before the stealth bomber. It's a huge black plane, a big ass black plane. The majority of the plane is them big engine boosting tanks. And that shit, brother, they say that thing, whatever the material it was made out of, it couldn't detect it on the radar. It flew at a certain height, which was above any radar could have, but they retired the thing because it was just too goddamn expensive to keep running. Go ahead.
Like the highest one I see, they call it the Global Hawk that raid terror on Iran, 220 million.
Okay, I had to see it to know. So just look for the plane they retired. There's a plane they retired because it was too expensive, and it was before the stealth bomber. Right, that stealth bomber thing came after. Go ahead. It might be that, but I know there was a black plane that was just huge as shit. It's just a huge ass thing, but it was that's that type of covert mission type plane, get in, get out type situation. And I think that it was able to go so high that the radars could not pick it up. It flew damn near like if it's going out into the stratosphere.
It's called the SR.
Yeah, that's the motherfucker, right? Excuse me. That's the plane right there. That thing there, brother. I think it's what's it called?
Black Hawk.
The Black Hawk. Hold on.
That's the plane that they modeled the X-Men plane off.
Mm-hmm. They used to have it on G.I. Joe too. That's why I used to like it.
Okay, first time I saw the plane, I did not believe it was an actual real thing. It don't look like it's a real plane. What's it called?
Black Hawk, sir.
SR-71.
SR-71. Blackbird.
Blackbird.
Yeah, I mean Black Hawk. I've seen helicopters. I'm like, what the hell are we talking about? Oh yeah, that's the thing right there, brother.
There was a Cold War spy plane.
Brother, this thing, I watched a documentary on this plane, brother. I mean, the thing is ridiculous. I did not believe it was a real, actual real thing. But they said they had to retire it because it just cost too much money. They said this thing was just so goddamn deadly. It was so deadly. It had so much capability, so much range. You know what I mean? It was just ridiculous. It was just too much money at the time to keep it up. So they retired the plane. They didn't make no more. I think it's only 1 or 2 or something like that they have. So you're going to hear all these things, all these wars, rumors of wars, the oppressor with his technology. He makes his technology to rule, to dominate, to oppress. He doesn't make or invent anything to better anybody's life, right? So now as these things is happening simultaneously, our kingdom is being built. And it's being built by the foolishness of preaching, right? The foolishness of preaching, being out there on that street, teaching, battling, crushing doctrines, waking people to hell up. That's our warfare. He's preparing for his warfare, right? Come on.
Kagara Math says, as a precept, 1 Corinthians 4:10.
Go ahead.
We are fools for Christ's sake, but ye are wise in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
We are weak, but ye are strong.
That's a good one. And Pogabo, you could take that one too for, I don't know, are you battling somebody with that question, or this was you just trying to get an understanding of what was going on? That's it. That's a good precept for it. Where it says, ye are fools for Christ's sake. Somebody read it again and just write it down wherever it is.
It was 1 Corinthians 4:7. 4:10, Salaki. 4:10. It says, we are fools for Christ's sake, but ye are wise in Christ.
Right. We are fools for Christ's sake, but we are wise in Christ. We're fools for his sake. Why? Because people are going to say we're foolish. People are going to say, everything, upside down about us, from how we dress to the way we live. Forget about the kids. Forget about the sisters. The sisters go through it. You'll find out your real girlfriends in that day. You put a head wrap on and you stop talking loud and turkey necking. You're going to realize this broad who you thought, the one we went Miami with, she wouldn't go to the store. She wouldn't go to the mall with you no more. Go ahead.
We are weak, but ye are strong.
Mm-hmm.
Ye are honorable, but we are despised.
That's it. Like that's the life you sign up for, right? And now, if you're not a faithful servant, brother, there's only a certain amount of that you can take, because the normal human nature is what?
Take the path of least resistance.
Exactly. And in this case, it would be, if we are despised and called fools, the normal human reaction is to want what? To be loved. You want to be loved. Right. You see Steve Harvey? That nigga wants to be loved. That nigga said, he said, they didn't steal nothing from us. We stole from them. And I'm like, where's Will Smith when you need him, nigga? Where is, I Am Legend? Where's iRobot when you need that motherfucker? God damn. He said we stole from them. He said they did the work for us to be great. Brother.
It's like, speaking of for us to be great, as brother Troy 1979 says, my grandfather, rest in peace, helped design that plane.
God damn. Listen, I wouldn't doubt to that. Yeah. Negroes got that. Listen, we got our hands in so much of this oppressor's kingdom. I would not doubt that, he probably designed the whole goddamn plane. And they took it from him. You get the point? So much of, the technology in the oppressor's kingdom, it comes from us. But because we're the slave force, you're not going to get the credit for that thing. You know what I mean? Egypt is great today. Egypt doesn't give Joseph credit. No other nation gives Joseph credit. You get the point? Just, that's really what it is. Right? So, what was on before? Fools for the Lord. It's only a certain amount of that you could take. You're going to want to be loved. You're going to want acceptance. My best advice to you is learn to love the hate. Like, if they love you, something wrong. If they love you and they, oh my gosh, and it's flooding. If the school turns into 50 million people overnight, yeah, I mean, we're praying for the laborers, but we do understand that this is not a road that everybody could walk. This is not that type of situation. This is not that. You go where you are loved, and I've heard it out of people's mouth. They ain't got no love in there, because what you want is to be coddled. You want You want an organization to hug you, to mommy you. That's what you want. This is not that type of place. This is, this is daddy's house. You come see your father over here. This is what the UPK is, the father of y'all, of every one of y'all. Every single one of y'all. I don't give a damn what shalom and them fringes on your shirt. The UPK is fathered every single one of y'all. You're just badass kids. That's all. You're just bad kids. And anytime you come through these doors, you're going, man up. You're going to straighten up. You're going, put some air in your chest. You're going to straighten that back up. You're going to go clean your room and you're going to say shalom. That's it. You're going to be, this is that type of place. This is not the other place where, you just want love. And that's not what goes on here. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Art.
It's like we're now bringing out in the class now. And like, well, basically, like what I was asking, more or less like the breakdown of Isaiah 20 now. It more or less
like, you turn them up a little bit. Hold on, that's so up.
Can.
Because I know I could have heard you a little bit more before.
Yeah.
Maybe them heaters is what.
Yeah.
It's all the way up. All right, go ahead, so up.
Yeah, so like I say, like we're now bringing out there now, right? And like what I was asking, basically like the question in Isaiah 20 now, more or less kind of like a breakdown now. It more or less.
Oh, like right. You wanted your own breakdown, Isaiah, right?
Yeah, but how you going into it there and you're explaining is more or less like you're kind of touching on it now.
Okay, Salaki, I totally forget. So before I go into it, I'm gonna get you a question. Okay, which verse you want it from?
Well, basically, it's just
the whole
like
thing?
Yeah, because short
okay,
now.
Let's see if we could get a little bit. All right. Isaiah, what, 20 and 21 through 6, right?
Yeah, can.
Okay, no sweat. All right, let's rock with it.
Isaiah chapter 21, verse 6.
No, chapter 20, verse 1 through 6.
Chapter 20, verse 1. Wine is a mocker. Strong.
20.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 20, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the year that Tartan came unto us as Ashdod, when Sargon, the kingdom of Assyria, sent him and fought against Ashdod and took it. Verse 2. At the same time spake the Lord by Isaiah the son of Amos, saying, Go and loose the sackcloth from off thy loins, and put off thy shoe from thy foot. And he did so, walking naked and barefoot. Verse 3. And the Lord said, Like as my servant Isaiah hath walked naked and barefoot 3 years for a sign and wonder upon Egypt and upon Ethiopia. Verse 4.
Read verse 2 again.
Isaiah chapter 20, verse 2. At the same time spake the Lord by Isaiah, the son of Amos, saying, Go and loose the sackcloth from off thy loins, and put off thy shoe from thy foot. And he did so, walking naked and barefoot. Verse 3. And the Lord said, Like as my servant Isaiah have walked naked and barefoot 3 years for a sign and wonder upon Egypt and upon Ethiopia. Verse 4. So shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptians prisoners and the Ethiopians captives, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt. Verse 5. And they shall be afraid and ashamed of Ethiopia, their expectation, and of Egypt, their glory. Verse 6. And the inhabitant of this isle shall say in that day, Behold, such is our expectation, whether we flee for help to be delivered from the king of Assyria, and how shall we escape?
Okay. So, and so what you saying, what we were saying before is kind of, it gives you a better understanding of this?
Yeah, basically, like verse 2 and 3 now, where it was kind of explaining, as a son, coming into your father's house, as you say, it was kind of straighten up now.
Right.
Because now, your father, manning you up and he letting you know, hey, long as you're in this house, the instructions that I laying down now, you have to more or less stay in line. Because now, if you don't stay in line now, these is things that could happen to you now without more protection.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, definitely. Okay, because okay, here this is the Lord. Okay, he's doing it for a sign to show. Okay, you not where you're supposed to be. You're not how you're supposed to be. So now you're gonna be ashamed before the nations. You're gonna be, ashamed. That's why he made Isaiah walk with less than standard clothing. Not he made him walk naked as you would think naked is today. Not butterball naked. Right? That's what people think. But just think he ain't clothed right. He ain't clothed how he should be clothed. He have on clothes, but not how he should be.
It's a good way to look at the term, like a brother, like sometimes if they ain't got their strap on them or something, they be like, man, I'm out here naked, or I feel naked. Like,
I mean, that ain't the best example. I get you. But okay, that's that you could use that. You could definitely use it. But okay, it's like you ever see okay, we still in the kind of cold period. This is still kind of winter, right? And I don't know about the other cities, but DC on a Saturday night, brother, you would think it's summer. Because when them Ubers pull up by the club, them bros is hopping out the club and it's clack, 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 straight to the door because it's from the car to the door. And they naked. But now if I say that today, nobody is going to envision a woman with a purse and jewelry on with nothing on and heels. Right. If you envision that, tell me where the club is. At me in your post. Nobody's going to envision a fully naked woman, but you'll envision what you have in your mind. Somebody who ain't dressed right. Somebody like, man, it's cold out here and they're still wearing that shit. They're out here down there naked. That's really what it is. It's like you ain't dressed right the right way. That's why I tell you, describe what he took off. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like how we bring it out, like I can use this precept as well in Zechariah 13 and 4.
Repeat that. Say what he said, Bakwash.
Same way you can use this. Can you use Zechariah 13 and 4 as a precept?
I had to hear it.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 13 and verse 4. And it shall come to pass in that day that the prophet shall be ashamed every one of his vision when he had prophesied, neither shall he wear a rough garment to deceive.
No, because of the deceive part. Mm-hmm. That one in Zechariah is more so for your preachers.
Right.
Read it one more time. I have a brother in the class read it, all right? So everybody will hear it, all right? So I put the audio on the computer ain't that strong. Go ahead, read it for me, whoever have it.
This is Zechariah chapter 13, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the prophet shall be ashamed every one of his vision.
Mm-hmm.
When he hath prophesied, neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive.
Right, everyone shall be ashamed of his vision. That's your Martin Luther King.
Right.
It's your Eddie Longs. That's your Farrakhan's. Every one of them was going to be ashamed of their vision. The Million Man March did nothing. He had another Million Man March that did nothing. And then he went from Islam to Scientology. Martin Luther King, integration, had to renege on it. He had to say, I had to say integration was, a mistake. It was overzealousness. And he is ashamed of what he said. Neither will they wear a rough garment to deceive. What does that mean?
They're going to dress in sheep's clothing. They're going to dress as, people will accept them.
Neither will they wear a rough garment to deceive.
Sorry, sir. If I may, the garment, would the garment be a representation of how they live?
What do you mean?
Meaning, like their garment is how they're seen in the world. So if they have on a rough garment, they're basically living our lives because we have the rough lives. If they have on the
They wear a rough garment to deceive.
Neither would they wear rough garments.
Okay, that's what he's saying. They won't wear rough garments anymore. You understand? They're ashamed of their vision, and they won't be wearing a rough garment anymore.
Are they saying the rough garment is what they would wear to have people know who they are? Like this is quote unquote like if the Washington Bullets had a uniform, you can identify what team they're on.
Right, and it's a rough garment to deceive. Might be missing it. Go ahead.
It's not just because I might be stretching, but okay, is it because everybody knew the prophets were rough men? So like them wearing the rough garments was them trying to deceive the people as if they were actual prophets.
So okay, so now the garment being rough would be. You're right. Okay, it's how Israel talk. Like, yeah, brother said that's a rough garment. I mean, that's a rough ass headpiece. That's okay. It's a compliment. It's like a badass garment. So this is a prophecy again. Wait, he has again. Hold on. This is a prophecy against them, saying, you know, the day gonna come where all their visions is, you know, they're gonna be ashamed of it because that shit ain't happened or it was bad. It happened, but it was bad. It was nobody should have listened to them, and neither will they wear a rough garment to deceive anymore. Just think your preachers, how they come out and they deck down with that thing all the way to the tip of the alligator shoe. Right. The Rolex, the gold, they're looking like damn. They wear that to deceive. Right? So that precept would be a prophecy against that. Hold on. Wait, is Zechariah one? I believe that whole Zechariah is against the false prophets. Hold on.
So it's like I said, if I may, is it like how we would say, like say that that's a bad garment, or you looking sharp?
Yeah, the garment ain't gonna cut you.
Yeah, right.
And the garment ain't disobeying the law. It ain't bad. It's just how we talk. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah, a rough garment. Right. You know, but they wearing these rough garments to deceive.
So it's like if I make too, that's heavy because Jeremiah just broke it down Monday.
Oh yeah.
He was saying like if the pastors didn't dress the way they dressed and all the fancy clothes and drove those fancy cars, you wouldn't follow him. You wouldn't believe him. So it's like what this is saying. The people follow them because they wear the rough garments.
Yep.
And without it, they couldn't deceive if nobody would follow them.
Brother, if we were on that corner in, you know, a suit and a tie, or just a suit with the bow tie, that's why the Muslims wear the suit. They're Muslims, but they're not out there with no man dress on. The Farrakhan ain't never wear a kufi. At least I ain't seen a kufi on his head. They don't wear that dress. They don't, you know, walk around with high waters and shit. They wear that garment to deceive. They wear that rough garment to deceive. It's just, once you know your people, you'll know how to get their attention. If we was on that corner with, you know, long suits and, you know, speaking in, you know, in rhythm, like, you know, like, you know, Bakash say something, but Barack finish it. And for guys who are coming, and something. And it's like an entertaining type shit. Brother, they would book us in the Verizon Center. They would book us in the Verizon Center because it just looks, the look of it, like that's how people are. People are very, very carnal. If it looks, you know, shiny, it must be nice. And that's it. You get the point, and that's really what it is. And like there's gonna come a time these preachers are going to give it up and they're gonna go hide. Right? If you read down, you'll see some more. Read down to yeah.
But he shall say, I am no prophet. I am a husbandman. For man taught me to keep cattle from my youth.
He gonna say, man, what you asking me about the Bible for? I know about these goats. I don't know nothing about no Jeremiah. And how much pounds you want? He's gonna move from that, right? That's it. The whole Zechariah and Zephaniah, they're two good books for prophesying against like Christian preachers on it, right?
So like I said, if I may, it's funny because I heard pastors say that too. Like when they get caught up in scandals and I'm just a little boy I'm a little farm boy from down south.
That's it. That's all he is.
I'm a humble. I come from humble beginnings.
Yeah, they all come from humble beginnings. They all, you know, whatever, nigga. You get the point. And there was some preacher who he had to go into a deposition because the IRS came down on him for all the spending he did. And his wardrobe was like $250,000 or some shit like that. And they ran through the itemized list of his spending. And they say, why you need, 20-some suits? And he said, well, I sweat a lot. So I have to change these suits. So he said, well, this Gucci belt, it costs $500. He said, yeah, I need the quality belt for something. And they're running through his whole thing, brother. And this nigga is dressed in money that could feed people. But he's, he reached to the point where he said, I'm not answering that question. Next question. And they're running down his whole expenditure, brother, to the cars, his clothing, why he had to eat this. And, I go around and I teach the people, and, that's the type of food that gives me energy. And I mean, you hear the bullshit he's saying when he had to account for his expenditure. But that's your preacher. Your preacher know if he don't look rich, you're not listening to him. That's it. He don't look like, damn, pastor looking sharp today. He must have something good to say. That's, you see in sports how they say, if you can't play good, look good. That's that. That's that. They don't have the truth, so they might as well just look the part. Just look good, like if you do have it, but you don't. You get the point. That's what that's saying there. So all right. Okay. All right. I ain't want to go too far in. Let me get 10 more minutes. All right. Give me let's run down Proverbs 31 and 10. Right. Hold on. Could I touch on World War III quickly?
I had a scripture for World War III.
Yeah, please, because I might want to touch on it a little bit. I definitely want to go through some of it. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. It's like I quoted when he was going to
Russia. Yeah, definitely. Like that's the Lord prophesying to turn Gog and Magog back the other way. Gog and Magog is Russia. We went through this a few weeks ago too, right? Gog and Magog is Russia. The Lord is turning them back the other way, strongly back into the old Soviet Union, the USSR. And that's what Putin here is trying to, resurrect. He's not backing down from this thing. They're gonna have to assassinate him in the office. They're gonna have to treat him like how they treat what's he doing? Arafat. Yasser Arafat, brother. He was in his compound. He didn't want to leave. They surrounded his compound with tanks and shit. He did not want to leave, brother, at all. He was standing there. He said if he surrendered, he knows people will turn on him. And they went in there and they bulldozed that whole thing down. Say they took him hostage. I think he died. They poisoned him. That's what they're going to try to do to Putin. They're going to try to starve him out and try to assassinate him. Same thing they did with what's Cuba man name? Castro. Same thing they did with Castro, right? They tried to poison Castro so many times. They tried to blow him up. You ever see them cartoons where somebody get his cigar and they light it and it blow up? That comes from what they tried to do to Castro. That was a real assassination attempt on Castro. And then they tried to poison him with some woman. And of course, the next thing they did was the cigar thing. And something happened. It didn't go on, or he was out of the office. I forget exactly what happened, but they tried that. And when you see the cartoon with that, it's from what they tried to do to him. They're gonna have to try to assassinate Putin. It ain't go. He ain't surrendering. You're not gonna be able to buy him, and he have more help from Moab. He have more help from the Northern African nations who siding with them, right? At one point, Syria was strong and they helped. They weakened Syria, right? Assad, I think he's the last of it. They done weakened his whole territory. So that scripture is talking about the Lord pulling Russia back the other way to the USSR. So now they could be that strong power in the East that's going to invite America and its allies into war. And that's what's going to happen. That's this thing that's going to happen here. Give me Matthew 24. I want Matthew 24 and somebody hold Proverbs 31 all the way up until Passover. These women going to get education. Because, you know, y'all going to say, I ain't leaving it alone. Y'all ain't leaving me alone. Y'all finding me in my own class. I don't understand this shit. If you want a husband, just say that. You ain't going to have me, though, but then one of these brothers going to deal with your knucklehead ass. Right? It needs to be studied why women automatically look together without even knowing each other for no apparent reason. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's go. Give me Matthew 24, and let's continue with from verse 6.
Oh God. Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Right? That's what you're hearing now. Wars, rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled. Why? Why see that you are not troubled? Christ already knew the whole climate of the world. He already knew how the world would paint it when these things happen. The media is going to make you believe that Ukrainian suffering means your children can't throw food in the trash.
Right.
You get the point? Let them kids throw away the food they don't want to eat, man. God damn. I remember growing up here and there's hungry children in Africa and me feeling sorry for these little bastards on TV with flies on their eyes.
Right.
I don't got to feel sorry for them. I'm a child, Negro. I don't know nothing about what you put on the plate.
Right.
Don't do that to your kids and make them feel sorry for goddamn Ukraine.
Right.
These things must happen. Somebody got to starve, man. When it was our turn, we did it. We did it and we created chitterlings. And, you know, and what's that thing? Blood pudding. Right? Blood pudding. We created all these things that people eat today as delicacies. Oxtail. You like that oxtail, right? Yeah, that's all that was left. Go ahead. Thank you. Levi ate them mud cakes. Wasn't nobody telling no Italian was telling the kids, you know, don't throw that garlic bread away, Paulie. You know, don't throw it away, Paulie. What's wrong with you, Paulie? Wycliffe is eating mud pies, Paulie. Nobody was telling them do that. So don't tell your kids do nothing for them Ukrainians, man. Let them Ukrainians pray to their God, whoever it is. Right? You don't be worried. Worse is coming, right? The end is not yet. All these things must come to pass, and your preacher is going to tell you, pray for peace. He's going to tell you, pray that these things cease. Peace in the Middle East. That was an old mantra back in what 90s, early 2000s. Peace in the Middle East. Don't pray for none of that thing. Pray that the Lord's will be done. Thy will be done. Thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. That's right. And if the Lord wants Ukraine to starve, what can I say? Let them starve.
That's right.
Let them starve. You get the point? He wants Turkey buried under earthquake. That's where they had the earthquake. It was Turkey. Well, no problem. I seen a video, brother. They're running in there with the excavator to pull out, you know, the rubble, and the Lord make it shake again, and the nigga jump out the excavator and bolt, brother. He make it shake again. It was rough, brother. Really rough. If the Lord want that to happen, what I'm asking, you know, the Lord to stop it for? I don't want him to stop nothing. Just, you know, go on and get it over with. You get the point? Go ahead.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places.
And that's what we're seeing. Nation are rising against nation. That's the race wars. Kingdom against kingdom, famine and pestilence. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing that now. So now how they took this down, drone down, it's going to create more of the atmosphere for kingdom against kingdom. It's going to create more of it. The famine and the pestilence is out, you know, it's already out the gate. You're already seeing what's going on with that. The shelves is empty and getting emptier. The food is old. You're getting old food now, expiring by the time you get back to your house. And there's earthquakes in diverse places. Go ahead.
All these are the beginning of sorrow.
Say it again.
All these are the beginning of sorrow.
Say it one more time.
All these are the beginning of sorrow.
All these are just the beginning of sorrows. It's the beginning. Right. Nothing ain't, you know, we ain't getting the full swing of it yet. We ain't even in the first quarter. We ain't half that. This is the beginning of sorrows. Right. If you ain't faithful, and you ain't got no wisdom, what's he gonna do when the sorrows reach the end of first quarter? You're gonna join the next team. This is the beginning of sorrows. Right? Go ahead.
Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you.
And shall what?
And shall kill you.
And shall what?
And shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
We ain't killing nobody in here, but you run out of here because you ain't got no love. What you gonna do when it's open season on them niggas on the corner?
Right.
We're gonna do that. They just behead some brother in Mississippi. They just found his body scattered all over the place. Pull up his name there. Y'all check it out. Some brother, I don't know where he was, but the story is some devils got him and cut his body into pieces and fed it to some pigs. Kareem something or
Jeremy Jerome Jackson.
No, I don't think that's his name. Hold on. His name was more so. That's it. That's a recent story. I think the story came out today or yesterday. The one you talking about was a while ago, I think. Yeah, that's a few years ago. The general did that story, and the police tried to deny that. That's why they cut his head off. Okay, this one they just found the remains, and they said they fed his body to wild pigs. Read it a little bit if you have it.
Family of black men found dismembered in Mississippi calls for probe.
What's his name?
Rasheem Carter.
Mm-hmm.
The family of a black man in Mississippi whose body was found dismembered has asked the U.S. government to investigate his death. Rasheem Carter, 25, called his mother last October and asked for help after he said a group of white men in trucks were chasing him in lower Mississippi, his mother said this week. His body was found in the woods a month later. The local county sheriff's office said it did not suspect any foul play. Police who have said an investigation into the death is ongoing have told Mr. Carter's family his body was likely torn apart by animals, according to U.S. media outlets. At a news conference on Monday, the family's attorney Benjamin Crump called the incident a hate crime and asked the Department of Justice to investigate. He said an autopsy performed on February 2nd showed Mr. Carter had been decapitated and his body parts found in different locations. Quote unquote, this was a nefarious act. This was an evil act, Mr. Crump said. Somebody murdered Rasheem Carter and we cannot let them get away with this.
You let everybody else get away with it, Benjamin Crump. I don't know what. Once again, he's wearing that rough suit to deceive many. You let everybody get away. The brother in Indianapolis came out and talked about I forget his name, Vox Booker. He came out and said that they tried to make him sign an NDA that he would come on TV and say he forgave those people who tried to kill him in the woods. I don't know if you all remember that. He was a brother. He looked like he may have autism or something like that. But he's heavy into the politics up there in Indiana. And he has these white friends, and he was going to some lake for 4th of July. And he happened to cross over on some private property where these hillbilly type people was, and they was already drunk on Budweiser, and they said, let's lynch him. And they told his white friends on camera, get out of here, leave this nigga. We gonna do what we want to do to him. This brother pissed himself off in the video. We're just trying to tie him to the tree. He came out and said, one of them lawyers, I can't remember which one of them lawyers, the district attorney and the police, they came to him with a deal to not proceed with the attempted kidnapping and hate crime against these devils, and that he would come on TV and say he publicly forgives them, and they was willing to cut him a big check that was going to be undisclosed, but he had to sign the NDA. And he came out and he blew the whole whistle. He said, nah, we're going to court, which lets you know every single case where you see the family come out and say, I forgive him, they got paid. They got paid to do it. So how he's saying here, we will not let this rest. That's the talk before, well, how much will it take to make this go away? That's how they tout it. So, they get the fact check. You get the point? And this brother, I read some parts of it. They say that, they cut him up.
Right.
They cut him all the way up and fed him to wild hogs. Go ahead.
It's like Bako Farah said, they found his body from hunting club land in Taylorville.
Months later, he calling mommy. They're trying to, Y'all better listen to UPK, man. You better come in here and buckle in and lock down and listen, because war is coming. Real life war is coming to this place. This is the beginning of sorrows. Keep reading.
Then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall
No, hold on. Read 9 again.
Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Right. That's why I say you got to get used to that hate, brother. You're looking for love. You're in the wrong place. You're looking for some kind of, and the love we're talking about is the love of the world, not the love in here that's going to correct you, that's going to change you. You want that thing that makes you feel good being weak. Makes you feel good being weak. That's not this type of place. Go ahead.
And then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Because iniquity shall abound. Because you don't want to follow the Lord. Because that will abound, this place is going to be turned into a heartless place. That's what you're seeing right now. Like every city you hear it, it's like, damn, what's going on? This thing happened, that thing happened. Forget somewhere. I ain't sure if it's Seattle. It's another news clip I saw today where this brother just put an axe in the middle of somebody's head. Just they hide out in the house and he just put the axe in the middle, and that was that. Whatever it is happened. This place is turning into something where just to walk outside, you're gonna need logistics. Just to go to the store, you're gonna need, it's gonna go back to how it used to be, where 2 people going, 2 and 3 people going. You're not by yourself. Them old Medgar ever days where you ain't traveling by yourself. Somebody got to follow you, this, that, the other, because we at the end. And you're gonna have to really buckle down in it and be disciplined and have that faith and be loyal. You know how to do that thing, or you're not going to survive it. Let me get some more.
But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
Say it again.
But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
Right. He that endure until the end, the same shall be saved. That thing ain't coming no time before. That thing ain't coming no time before. And if the Lord said he was coming in 2000 and did not show up then, it's not the end. You're going to have to endure. You're going to have to push through. You're going to have to, everything that comes your way is just going to be another thing you're going to have to fight. You're going to have to fight. And you're going to have to deal with it. And you're going to have to, live with your decisions. You know what I mean? You're going to have to live with your decisions. This place is coming to a close. Watch and pray. Pray and watch. Pray for more signs and go watch for the signs. Go watch for what you're praying for. Watch for the destruction. Pray that it happens. Pray that more laborers come into the truth. More brothers and sisters wake the hell up and get strong and disciplined, because this place is right at the point where the Lord is ready to pull the plug. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Right, the valley of Jehoshaphat. The valley of judgment, of decision. The Lord is bringing them down into that Middle East, and he's going to gather all nations. Go ahead.
And will plead with them there for my people.
Right, and he will plead with them there for my people. What does it mean, plead with them there? Let me get this, please. I'm coming to you. You plead with the flesh. That's what you're going to pull? You plead with the flesh. To plead with them there is meaning he's going to put hell on them as they're down there. And that's how he asks you to do something. That's how he pleads with you. The Christian's going to think, well, down there, he's going to come down and tell them, stop fighting, yo, stop, hold on. Safety's on, everybody. All gone upon safety. No. The Lord going to come down there and bloodbath until people yield, until people submit. Anymore? Not on the plead one. What you're reading first. Go ahead.
And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel. whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
Listen, that's why I say you can't feel sorry for no Ukrainian, no Russian, no nobody. They done scattered us and parted our land. And when they say parted, it meaning you divided it up for profit. They done profited off of us for a long time. And now it's time for them to pay this hand. Now it's time for them to come back in there and, pay what they owe. And the Lord gonna pull them into that third world war. In the meantime, you better wake the hell up. You better not be, and it's so heavy where they legalize so much of this, the drug culture. Like it's so legal now and it's so much part of us. Where you're really talking to a zombie. You at camp, you're talking to a zombie, and they did that on purpose. They did that to make sure we never ever really able to reach our people in a certain way. Because the Lord, that ain't gonna work with him. That ain't gonna work with him. The Lord gonna just make everybody attend babies. And in about 20 years, you're gonna have your people. And there's nothing that they could do to stop what the Lord is building in terms of his kingdom. Because their destruction gonna have to come. Next week, y'all women y'all ain't getting away. Y'all get past this week. I'm on y'all head until the 16th of April. All right? Y'all done piss me off. Y'all gonna know what misogynism is really. And y'all gonna realize it's love. All right? With that Passover, the priest and officer, Pagaibo.
I.S.U.P.K. security announcements. We're the I.S.U.P.K. out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shut themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. It means 10th in Hebrew, and it's pronounced ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation is the Lord's 54th annual Passover that will be held in Raleigh, North Carolina, at the Raleigh Convention Center at 500 South Salisbury Street. But on Wednesday, March the 29th, we'll have the Lamb Slaughter. Thursday, March the 30th, we have the Black Wall Street Tour, Stagville Plantation Tour, and the All Black Party with the live concert. Friday, March 31st, we have the Kids Party at Adventure Landing and Scripture Breakdown with General Muhammad.
That's right.
Saturday, April 1st, is the Lord's 54th Passover at the Raleigh Convention Center.
Right.
And Sunday, April the 2nd, we have the Feast of Unleavened Bread at the Sheraton Hotel.
All right, everybody, y'all get in contact with your camp leader. Let your camp leader know how you're making it down there, the time you're making it down, the date you're leaving, the the hotel you're staying, and make sure you communicate that with your camp leader. It's going to be an insane week, crazier weekend, and it's just it's good practice. It's good practice to make sure you're reporting in, so everybody knows, your camp leader knows your whereabouts. All right, go ahead,
Remind Akim and Aquakians to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K. events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black headband, or scarf. And with that, I say Imanium, which means to stand. Wakpal Hakodam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to read the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanaw, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, I.S.U.P.K, Yahawah, Malakah, Ratazaka, I.S.U.P.K, Baratazah, Kawah, Mashamayim, Lakam, Yawam, Wasalakna, Kawawafna, Kasalakna, Kawawafna, Wala'ah, Yahanna. On the side one.
Above. Hoshina. Mayan. Right. Yeah. Look up. I'm a lock
In the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Give us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
So I was making a turn. Sister, you may have a seat. We give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel. I.S.U.P.K. Amani, Barak.
Yahawa Shai.
Yahanna. So I was making a turn. Sister, you may stand. We'll give one courtesy salute to the sister, men of Israel. I.S.U.P.K. Amani, Barak.
Yahawa
Yahanna. Class dismissed.
Shalom, Israel. And when I mean Israel, I'm talking about the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. The Lord's 54th annual Passover is going down again this year, sundown, April 1st at 500 South Salisbury Street in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Downtown Conventional Center. It's got enough room for all of us. The Lord's 54th annual Passover. Last year, brothers and sisters showed up from all over the world, rocking ancient garments and glorious apparel in order to serve the Most High in Christ. Now, it's that time again. Commander General Yahanna is putting out the decree for all brothers and sisters to show up sundown, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us at the Sheridan in Raleigh, the hotel right downtown. It's at 421 South Salisbury. The Passover is right up the block at the convention center, literally within walking distance. Make sure you pull up. Make sure that you do your due diligence because rooms are going fast and they are limited this weekend. You understand? We have months in advance of preparation. Do not wait till the last minute to get your room. The Lord's 54th annual Passover, Saturday, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us there.
It's about time, sending curses to them enemies.